see the next part of the lesson, evolution. In that, we will see the biological evolution. We have seen that Darwin gave the theory of natural selection, based on which the fitness of the organism is very important. The nature will select the best fitted organism, and that organism will grow, survive and reproduce, multiply. Now, this natural selection theory, it says that fitness is the end result of the ability to adapt and get selected by nature. Now, consider the experiment in which we have two organisms. A organism which grows on a particular nutrient medium in the laboratory. When you supply the particular nutrients, organism A will grow and will show the growth on the laboratory medium. Now, if you change the feed component, if you change the nutrient medium from the original nutrient medium, you will see that the another variant form B, it overgrows than A type of organism. So how this happens? It is found that A organism has got the ability to utilize new feed component, and that variant type B is developed from this A type only, because it has got this B type now is the another variant of the old one. The old organism, that is A organism, will not be able to grow because it is not able to utilize, it is not adapted to utilize the new feed component which is provided in the nutrient medium. So, the variant type, we will call it as B. This develops, it grows, or you can say it overgrows than type A. So the conclusion from this experiment is that the fitness or the adaptability, getting adapted to utilize here in this experiment, different feed component is important, that as variant B has got that capacity, it will survive, it will be selected by nature and not type A. Now, the another scientist, Lamarck, he also studied the process of evolution, and he also has put forth his theory, which is called as Lamarckism. His theory is based on use and misuse of organs, and according to him, giraffe has long neck because the organism utilizes neck for eating the leaves of the tall trees, and for that the organism giraffe has to stretch the neck continuously for getting the leaves, and that has been inherited in the other generations, and so the giraffe has long neck. That means if you use a particular organ continuously, then it grows. The another disuse of the organ, another example is of snake. According to Lamarck, the snake has lost the limbs because of defunct or not utilization of that part. So this theory, Lamarckism, is based on use and disuse of organs. But this Lamarckism is not accepted because it is not holding truth. All the points of the theory are not true for all the time, and that is why it is not accepted. The next point, that is mechanism of evolution. Darwin has put forth the theory of natural selection, which is more or widely accepted, but even Darwin has ignored variations and the factors influencing the phenotype. Factors influencing the phenotype are nothing but the genes. This term factor was given by Gregor Mendel. So, nowadays we know that the genes influence the character. Any character is influenced, that expressed character is called as phenotype. So, the genes are influencing the characteristic of an organism. This point was not considered by Darwin, and even variations, that is changes or differences in the genes, that also are not, or mutations you can say. The changes in the genes, they are called as variations or mutations. He did not give importance to that while giving his theory of natural selection. Another scientist, Hugo de Bellis, he worked on evening primrose, and this is a plant, and he came with idea of mutation. Mutation are sudden changes in the genetic constitution. So, according to his theory, mutations are causing the evolution, but these mutations are random and directionless. That means they are not going in particular direction, whether they will be beneficiary or they will be harmful, or they are going in particular direction. It is not like that. So, this can happen in any direction, any time. So, they are random and directionless. And the mutations cause speciation. Speciation means formation of a new species from the existing organism. So, that speciation is the result of the mutation in the original organism. Now, this is called as saltation. Saltation, saltus in Latin means leaf. So, single step large mutations are called as saltation. So, because of the large mutation, a large population is affected, and that is what is saltation, the term used, and this saltation is causing speciation, that is the formation of new species can occur because of the saltation. The next point, this is important one, Hardy-Weinberg principle. Generally the questions are asked on this Hardy-Weinberg principle. So, it is stating that, this principle states that allele frequencies in a population are stable and is constant. The gene pool remains constant. This is called genetic equilibrium. Sum total of allele frequencies is 1. Now, the term allele means any gene is present in two or more alternative forms, and those alternative forms of a gene are called as allele. So, alleles are the alternative forms of a gene which is governing a particular character. So, that is called as allele. For every character, generally there are 2 alleles. Like for height, tall and short, there will be one allele for tallness and the other allele for shortness. So, that way every character is governed by a pair of alleles, and the frequency of these alleles in a given population is stable. It is not changing in a given population, and that is how it is a constant. The gene pool remains constant. Now, the term gene pool means if you consider the genetic material of all organisms of a particular species, may it be from the wild or the other. So, total genetic content of those particular organisms belonging to one particular species, that is the gene pool. So, that remains constant because there is no change in it. And that is how the sum total of allelic frequencies is 1. When Hardy-Weinberg principle is applied to a population, it says allelic frequencies are stable and constant. The gene pool also remains the constant or same, and this is called genetic equilibrium because there are no changes in the genetic content. That is why it is called as genetic equilibrium. And if you do the sum total of allelic frequencies, it is always 1. Now, let us consider this Hardy-Weinberg principle with an example. Individual frequencies, let it be P and Q. For a particular allele, say capital A and small a. These are the two alternative forms of a gene. We are considering capital A, that is one form, and small a. So in a diploid organism, it will have two these alleles. A will have frequency P, this capital A will have frequency P, and small a will have Q. Now, if the organism's genetic content, the diploid organism has both alleles capital A, then it will have the P square. For both small a, of course it will be Q square, and for one capital, one small, it will be 2pq. The frequency will be 2pq. Now, according to the binomial expansion of P plus Q bracket square, you have learned that in maths, P square plus 2pq plus Q square is equal to 1. So, if you fill up the frequency values here for P square, for Q square and for 2pq, it comes to 1. Certain numericals can be asked on this, where the value of P, Q may be given to you and you have been asked to find out the value for this hybrid, that is capital A, small a type of organism. So for that you have to remember this, and if the question is asked from Hardy-Weinberg principle, you have to give the statement and you have to explain this part. The next point is factors affecting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. The first point is gene flow. Now, gene flow is also called as gene migration. This is happening when the organisms from one population migrate to the another area and mix up with the organisms of other population. So that time gene migration or gene flow occurs. Or if you consider interbreeding, two different organisms show interbreeding, that time the gene flow or gene migration occurs. The genes are transferred from one population to the other population. So this is the first point. The second is genetic drift. Now, genetic drift is somewhat similar to gene migration, but considering it when there is a chance condition. It is depending on a chance that the genetic drift is a process in which the organisms change the gene pool. So that is what is genetic drift. Mutations are the sudden changes in the genetic material. So they also change the equilibrium. The next is genetic recombination. We have seen that during gamete formation meiosis occurs, and during meiosis genetic recombination, the crossing over occurs, and because of that also there will be change in the equilibrium. The next last point is natural selection. So as per the Darwin's theory, natural selection will occur in the nature and it will select the fittest one. The next point is a brief account of evolution. Till now we have seen different theories of evolution and what is evolution and all that. Now in the earlier part we have seen how the single-celled organisms have evolved from the inorganic substances. From them the coacervates developed, coacervates gave rise to pre-cells and then the single-celled organisms. Now during the course of evolution, these single-celled organisms were evolved into multicellular life forms. Somewhat 500 million years ago, 500 million years ago, invertebrates evolved, and some 350 million years ago, jawless fish developed. 320 million years ago, seaweeds developed, and when the life developed on the land, that time amphibians, reptiles, and finally the mammals have evolved. The last point is origin of and evolution of man. Now, how the mammals have developed, but how the man has evolved from the ape-like organisms. It is found that some 15 million years ago, primates have developed. Now these primates were of two types. Dryopithecus, these organisms were more like apes, and the other Ramapithecus, these were more like human beings or man. Then some 2 million years ago, Australopithecus, these developed. The scientific name is Homo habilis. These man-like organisms, the first man-like organisms, they have the brain capacity 650 to 800 cc. And after that, the human beings which have evolved, that is 1.5 million years ago, we call them as Homo erectus. They have got 900 cc brain capacity. Some 1 lakh to 40,000 years ago, Neanderthal man, whose brain capacity was 1400 cc. And the present day modern man, Homo sapiens, it is developed during the Ice Age. So this is all about this lesson. Please go through the lesson, complete the question answers